We
There
on?
we go.
We on
We
there?
are live. It's the Pearlo
Yeah,
Winning
all right.
Show with Peyton and Imani. Doing. We got three people on, three of us today, and after an amazing game last night, got to give big kudos to Montreal, right?
Oh my gosh. They have like
Congratulations.
yeah. Hey, I'm happy. That's my team in my pool that I've been talking about. Tonight's game's going to be big. So my girlfriend's dad had Vegas. They got obviously knocked out. I saw the last 5 minutes of second period and then just could not stop watching after that. I've just been doing a bunch of stuff and everything, trying to kick off my summer, balancing everything out. But Montreal has defied the
Yes.
odds the entire time they have been in the playoffs. They have been underdogs. Everybody in the media was like, "Yeah, Leafs are going to spank them." I was seeing some people say Leafs in four, Leafs in five. Like I said on here millions of times, I had a gut feeling, but just couldn't pull that trigger, and I said Leafs in six. So them choking doesn't quite look as bad. It's still pretty bad, but it's not quite as bad since the Canadians have made the cup and they might win it for all we know. Um, and then I actually picked them to beat the Jets. I think I was one of the only few people that said Montreal's going to beat the
Mm-hmm.
Jets. I think the Jets winning that. I said Canadians. I think I said Canadians in six. Obviously, they swept them. Sorry if I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
too much. And then them beating Vegas was like my mind was just blown because I thought Vegas would beat them in five. I was like, okay, like Vegas is on another level than everybody else that Montreal has faced. Does this mean that the West was never really all that good? Since it was really mostly just Vegas and Colorado and Minnesota was good. I don't know. The regular season just doesn't matter. Like it's just whatever happens in the regular season does not matter at all. Montreal, I think, finished with like a what was it, a .525 point percentage or something not that great
Mm-hmm.
like that. They were ranked dead last out of all the teams that qualified in the playoffs, ranked number 16, and they are in the Stanley Cup for the first time since 1993 when I was 2 years old.
Hmm.
Unbelievable, honestly. Just playoff hockey is amazing. Nothing touches it. Clearly the best playoffs out of any sport. This proves it right here. Just amazing to see
Yeah.
that.
And you know what? The thing that's funny, like you're talking about, how they were the worst team. And the thing is, like, there was a lot of people on Twitter that I was looking through today that were actually upset with the Montreal Canadiens winning and how it wasn't an entertaining series and et cetera, and being like, oh, this is stupid. How the Montreal Canadiens are the worst team in. They shouldn't have been in. And because Dallas and them were higher than them and they made it in and now they're here in the Stanley Cup Finals, proving everyone wrong. And I love it. I love an underdog story. I love these Cinderella stories where
We
you
all
see
do.
a one of the worst teams in the NHL, come in and they make it all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. I don't know how people don't like that. It's fun and entertaining to see, right? I mean, that was the exact same thing with the Edmonton Oilers back in 2006 as well, where they were one of the worst teams in that Western Conference. They beat the top team in the Detroit Red Wings, and they just went all the way to the finals. Sometimes you just have that team that's built for the playoffs, and you go all the way. And for seeing teams saying that they were Montreal was a grindy team, they faced tons of adversity, and
A lot.
even if they were chippy, the Vegas Golden Knights they had the refs on their side a lot of the games. Vegas got more power play time than Montreal ever did throughout the entire series. But the one big thing for the Montreal Canadiens is that they were elite on their PK. Not just
Yep.
that, they were elite defensively the entire series. They played one of the best defensive games against the Vegas Golden Knights than any other team that Vegas has faced in the playoffs ever.
Mark
They
Stone
played
got
some of the
held out of
best
point.
defensive game. It was insane how well Montreal did against the Vegas Golden
Yeah.
Knights, and I just love every bit of
They
every moment watching them celebrate was just amazing.
Yeah, they neutralized Vegas's forwards. Mark Stone did not have a point this series, and in my opinion, he's their best forward and one of the top five wingers in
Hmm.
all of hockey. And he got completely just shut out. Carlson, Marshall Show did not do much at all, and all of those guys were amazing. up until the Canadian series. Right now, the Canadians are at a 93.5% penalty kill, which is absolutely mind boggling.
Hmm.
Did not allow a power play goal to Vegas. Um, it's just remarkable to see that Vegas's defensemen did a good job creating scoring chances and scoring themselves from the blue line. So whoever the Canadians face in the next round, they'll have to adjust that and look out from the top instead of the bottom. But I mean, either way, just an unbelievable series. Every game was close. I'm like double checking the scores and just trying to get the member berries in there. Um, I mean, three of the games were overtime. I think they were all like quicker overtimes too. Last night's overtime was like 2 minutes. And yeah, it was just unbelievable. Carey Price has been a god. He's at a 2.02 GAA, 12 and 5, 934 save percentage. Toffoli's been going off. He leads them all in points with 14, goals with 5, assists with 9, and he has 2 game-winning goals. I mean, those would have to be your top 2 Conn Smythe favorites for the Canadians. I would give it a Price though. Me personally, Suzuki's been awesome. Still a cool last name. Caulfield, or am I saying that right?
Caulfield, whatever.
Caulfield. I suck
Who
at pronouncing
cares? We
names.
all know who
Yeah,
you're talking
Caulfield's
about.
been a he's been awesome. He had 4 goals this series, and he's just been excellent. Been a good rookie for them. They got some pretty good young talent. I'm curious to see how the Canadians do next season once things realign back to normal. That's something to really watch out for. Part of me, I'm really not trying to take much away from them. I'm happy for them. I'm happy that they're in there, but I feel like they're more of a playoff style team than they are in the regular season. Can they do this again next year? Can they make the playoffs next
Whoa.
year? As what
Well,
we
that's
can.
a hot take, Austin. Sorry to cut you off, but that's an insane hot take there, bro. We said that
Oh,
about Vegas Golden Knights
yeah.
whooping
I had
Montreal,
Vegas
and
in
they
5,
didn't.
Yeah.
and Canadians won that in 6. Where I'm not counting them out.
So
It looks.
I'm not calling them out any longer either.
Yeah, I'm not
I
doing
did
it.
a video about this. I'll have it out this weekend. You guys check it out. But I think one of the biggest things that happened here was I got some echo coming back to me. Sorry, I can fix that though. I think one of the biggest things that happened in this was that they just got under the skin of every team they played. They beat them down,
Hmm.
not physically, yes, but emotionally. And I got a video about Corey Perry and some of the things he may have said or did or whatever to get. Have you ever seen Stone get off his game like that? Like game
Yeah, never.
5, he looked like he didn't even care about hockey anymore. Like it was brutal, man.
Hmm.
Now I know he's kind of frustrated with himself because he hasn't scored, but to me it looked kind of like more than that, especially Pacioretty. They pan one shot to Pacioretty, and I don't know. I not too many times I've seen a guy look so defeated in my life in a playoff round. And when you look at um, what happened with Shifley and how that with that incident and how furious he was, like the look on his face
Hmm.
after that was over, like he looked like a madman, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I just remember when I played, there was guys like Corey Perry out there, and I was one, but not like I wouldn't go as low as them. But this guy will go to the lowest of lows to find out personal information about you. He will do whatever he can. He'll make fun of your mother if she's handicapped. You see what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. I
Jeez.
wouldn't doubt that he did some things like this in these series, and
Going pretty dark there.
it gets that dark. It gets that dark. You talk about guys like Matthew Barnaby, Kessler. A lot of these guys don't, as far as they're concerned, if whatever you say on the ice stays on the ice, and if you can't handle it, too bad.
It does.
And
It happens on any ice almost. Like not as much as like the NHL, but you always hear trash talk, even when you're playing the little bits of hockey and midget or bad term or whatever it may be, and they're still relentlessly trash talking you. I remember very vividly some of my teammates saying some pretty vulgar stuff to other teammates on the other side of the ice just to get in their heads or
Hmm.
to talk trash or whatever it may be. And I wouldn't doubt that, Montreal did
Yeah.
that. But in game six, Chandler Stevenson returned, and I gotta say that first line didn't look terrible for Stone and Pacioretty. I thought they had a little bit more
Yeah.
jump in their
Yeah.
skate, and also they were playing on the wall. But I felt like Stevenson made that line a hell of a lot better than what it was throughout the entire series, and I felt like they were missing Chandler Stevenson a lot throughout the series.
Yeah. NNR. I meant to say HNR with, and I put ones instead of exclamation marks. Thanks. Awesome, you're coming in, HNR. Yeah, I really think that was one of the biggest plays on here, and I saw it with you saw it in Anaheim when they had Pronger and Perry. Like it's a part of the game that is sometimes underappreciated, and in this playoffs, I think it's probably been more of effect than I think I've seen any before. Although the Philadelphia Flyers back in the day were like that, there was a lot of people that are like that. But it's even more like specifically taking certain players and knowing what to say and all of that stuff to where they are. Like I saw some things on Matthew Barnaby that honestly I can't even tell you on this program. Some of the stuff that he said because I listen to Sirius Radio, and he kind of skirted
Yep.
around it. But he says today that he's actually regrets a lot of the things he says, and the whole idea that what stays on the ice. That like he's talking about making fun of people's children that are mentally handicapped and all kinds of stuff. So it goes deep, 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 deep.
Yeah, it's like
Hmm.
deep and dark and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, and if
Yeah, yeah. It's wow, that's
yeah that.
interesting. But yeah, you really don't
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, it's but I'm just I just can't put it all into words with what happened last night. Like
It was
everybody
insane.
counted them out against Vegas. Um,
Hmm.
I guess most people did against Toronto. Again, like I didn't, but I still picked Toronto. I mean, I really am curious to see what this team's going to be like next season. And also, let's not forget, every single team except for Vegas loses a player to Seattle. So every team is going to get slightly weaker. So this isn't really the end of the world for Vegas. They didn't blow a 3-1 lead like the Leafs did, which I still think the Leafs have definitely been the hardest challenge for the Canadiens so far since they had them at 3-1. And also, too, Vegas won't lose anybody to expansion, and they should keep both goalies, Fleury and Leonard. I still stand by that. I don't blame them for switching to Leonard. Also, too, this series could have been different had Fleury not have been an idiot and played that puck like a moron, and then I forget who it was on the Canadiens that had that easy backhand in there. That was Vegas's game, and
Hmm.
that happened in what was that 3?
Yeah,
No, I think it was. Yeah, I think
Hey.
it was game 3.
yeah,
I think game 3 Flurry did that dumb stuff, and
Hmm.
if Flurry. I mean, I'm not trying to say the series was all Flurry's fault. Like he had a good playoff run. I'm not trying to like
I think it was a collective of all the Vegas Golden Knights just not
their
doing very
forwards
good.
didn't show up. I mean, their
Yeah.
their their defensemen did. I don't blame Vegas's defensemen. I thought Martinez looked good. I thought Petrangelo looked good. I thought those guys looked good. I think Vegas's defense, like or their defensemen, I think they were like
Man, sorry to cut you off, but Tampa
you're
Bay
good.
fans, I'm just reading the chat and I'm laughing about how they think that they're gonna go far and they'll just wipe through everyone and wipe through the Canadians. I'm just laughing because the Golden Knights fan said that a lot, that they're just gonna wipe
Yeah,
through the Canadians
yeah.
and move
I
on to the
had
Stanley
Golden
Cup
Knights in
final.
five.
I'm a Knights fan. I thought that Vegas was going to, take that.
Oh,
I
I
didn't think
thought
it was going
Vegas
to
was
be
gonna win
easy though.
too.
I didn't think it was going to be easy. Not the way Montreal's playing. Not with Price. And let's face
Yeah,
it.
that's
Let's
true.
face it. Price has.
Right.
I mean, you can say all the things that I said about getting in their heads, and I think you brought up Flurry. That's another one. He's a very emotional guy. I think they got into his head as well. But Price has been just none of that matters compared to Price being as beastly as he was. That he is definitely without a doubt. You trade any other
Oh,
goaltender for Price, and Montreal's probably not here. Would you agree?
I think
It
I think
depends.
Price. I think Price, he was so huge for the Canadians throughout the series, but also the biggest thing in the series was the fact that Montreal was able to kill every penalty that they
Yep.
were to face. Their PK was lethal. Defensively, they were great. They were able to shut down, and then not just that, they were actually able to score with their forwards. You have Cole Caulfield who blazed
Oh,
past McNabb on a
that
beautiful
was
play. My
Yep.
lord,
that was
tapped it to himself.
disgusting.
The IQ, the
Yeah.
IQ of the kid to be able to bat it because he's seeing McNabb coming after him, and he's coming for that puck. So he knows if he bats it, McNabb can't
Right.
hit him. He can't grab him because
I
if he
think.
gets grabbed, then that's a penalty.
Right.
And
Right.
so Caulfield just has a wide open net, and
Yep.
it was a beautiful play by
Yeah, it was an
Caulfield.
awesome play. I think out of any professional athlete, like groups of athletes, I think hockey players, I mean, maybe them or baseball players probably have the best like hand-eye coordination. Maybe hockey because they're also skating around and everything too.
Yeah.
And it's just a much faster sport. Like some of the stuff that Crosby does, it's like, how do you know when to like tip it in when it hits off the bar like so fast? Like it's so amazing. Like I'm not gonna lie, as much as I love hockey, athletically they suck compared to football players and basketball players. That's just the way it is. Because football and basketball players can jump like 100 feet in the air and do like windmill dunks and like catch it one hand over three people and all that stuff. Like hockey players, it's like the hand eye is absolutely insane, and that's an example of what you just point out there, Peyton. Because Caulfield put in that work doing that, and that was a beautiful play. It was sexy. It was every beautiful, gorgeous, nice, whatever adjective you want to use for that. So I'm looking back at the Flurry blunder. So yeah, that was Game 3. Um, that was. I mean, I blame a lot of that on Flurry. And again, I don't hate the guy. I don't wish him bad luck. I mean, if I were Vegas, I'd be like, "Oh, Flurry, how dare you!" So really, Vegas should have been up 2-1 in game 3. So this series could have been a whole lot different had Flurry just played the puck properly. And who knows, maybe it'd be Vegas going into the cup,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe this would be tied going into 7 for tomorrow night. So I look back at that one particular play, and I think that was the defining point of the series that just
Mm-hmm.
gave the Canadians the momentum.
Oh,
And I didn't blame DeBoer for starting Leonard the next game. Leonard was awesome, and only gave up a goal. But then the next game, he put Fleury back in. Like to me, like I would have kept Leonard in there. I don't know if that would have made a difference or not. And
I would
then,
have kept Leonard in there. I
yeah,
would have
yeah,
just kept riding with Leonard.
yep, I would have done it too because Leonard was awesome in game 4 and they were getting outshot. And then Leonard was just like, all right, well, hold my beer. I got this pretty much. And then game 5, like you said, we both agree Leonard
Mm-hmm.
should have been game 5. Last night, Leonard was doing good himself too. Um, I don't know. It was there's just so much that has happened. And the third period, I felt
Um,
that the Vegas was looking
mm-hmm.
stronger. Like they were just pushing more in the Montreal zone, but Price was just saving everything. Like you just heard "save by Price" like 1,000 times last night. Like he was just on fire.
Also,
Nothing he could
just
do.
want to quickly Montreal. If Montreal does face up against Tampa Bay Lightning there, Elliot, I've been seeing Elliot being just very cocky about his Tampa Bay Lightning and talk about the power
I
play.
don't think
Tampa
Elliot's a
Bay's power
Lightning
play has
fan.
been
I think he's
mainly
got
shut
money on
down.
him, but go ahead.
Oh, maybe he
Yeah.
does, but even Austin, I was just seeing that a lot of Tampa Bay supporters there. I love this type of stuff. I love when we get this many people in the chat going back and forth and arguing with each other,
Absolutely.
Oh Lord, I'm
especially
looking
getting
at it
Yeah,
right
if you
now.
don't
opinion.
like arguing, don't come here.
Ex
You
Yeah.
Yeah,
better have an opinion and not get offended,
especially
or you're
the
not going to like being here.
mhm. Especially when it's game 7, you gotta it's gonna be tense between both of the fan bases, right? You're gonna trash talk a little bit, but looking over the power play of Tampa Bay over the New York Islanders, the only
It's
game that
healthy.
Tampa Bay really did good in the power play was the game that they won 8-0. The
Yeah.
rest of the games they were struggling on our power play. So if you're thinking that the already decent power play that was struggling against the New York Islanders, you think you're going to be able to score against Montreal and Carey Price on their very strong PK as it
Oh,
already
yeah.
is.
Yeah,
And
that's true. Yeah.
not even just that, they got more calls on any other team. So holy crap, he does have a lot of money on Tampa. So I do see why
Yeah.
he does want Tampa Bay winning without a
Yeah.
doubt. But it is going to be. I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk. I don't. I
No,
don't
I
think
don't
it's
either.
going to be a cakewalk for Tampa
Nope,
or the
definitely
Isles
not.
going up against Montreal. If it's even the Isles, I think it's going to be a tough series going up against the Montreal Canadiens because they are identical teams, and we just seen what happened to Vegas. They got stopped, and New York, they already have a problem with scoring goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if they're going to be going up against the Montreal Canadiens, it's going to be a tough series no matter what. I
Now,
think
if
it's going to be
Tampa,
an entertaining series.
yeah, if Tampa wins tonight, which is my girlfriend's pool team, then her and I have to throw
Hmm.
$50 more into the pool. So I could potentially win up to like 250 or 200 or something. Well, I mean, I guess that
Nice.
includes my money back. So
Yeah.
I got a lot riding on the Habs. I might even try to jump into those odds on like I don't know. I'm just like, oh, do I want to get greedy and like put more money on the Canadians and
The
they're not even
the
my
only
team?
reason why I want
Uh,
Tampa to win is I want to see Maroon Perry.
oh, Pearlo, you're
That'd be
saying
pretty
Tampa. You've been
entertaining.
you've been a
No, I
Tampa
don't
hater
want
all year
Tampa to
long.
win. But if they win, I don't want Tampa to win. I'm going for the Islanders to hold. Don't get me
Yeah, I want
wrong. I want the
Islanders to
Islanders
win.
to
I'm
win.
rooting for the Islanders.
But if the only reason why I would want Tampa to win is because I want to watch Maroon Perry. That'll be a freaking awesome battle between those two guys.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, that
Those
would get
guys
real
are
gritty
those
there.
guys
That's a
are
good
two
point.
like the
Yeah,
antagonists to.
that's a very good point. I want the Islanders to win. Um, I think either team would be a hard time for the Canadians. Um, man, I really, I want the Islanders to win because they have had that long drought since '83. Tampa obviously just won last year, and I mean Tampa's not going to have Kucherov tonight. That makes things a little bit harder. But you got to remember too,
Hmm.
last year they won the cup without well, Stamkos played like 2 minutes in that one game, but other than that, pretty much without Stamkos. And I'm surprised Stamkos hasn't gotten injured yet. He has to have some sort of injury. Like I just always assume he's injured. Like I don't hate the guy. I think he's a good player, but there's always something with
Yeah.
Stamkos. And then Hedman, I wonder what he's been playing through because before the playoffs, he said, "Hey, look, I got to have surgery in the off season." So I wonder what he's going through. And also, too, Braden Point's been a freaking boss. He's got like 14 goals this postseason. Like the dude has been on fire. I mean, if they get to the cup and win it, the Conn Smythe is either going to go to Point, Kucherov, or Vasilevsky. I don't see anybody else in Tampa winning that other than one of those three. That's if they win the cup and everything. I think Tampa's going to win this tonight. It's at their place. I feel like a lot of times the home team wins Game 7. Tampa, they're the defending champs. I'm going to say Tampa wins this 3-2 in overtime.
Tampa's 22-2 after a loss facing the same team.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah,
Whew. There's a
yeah.
stat.
Oh,
That
Austin has a little something going on. Austin, hope your dad doesn't beat you if you're teaming with him.
Yeah, you're a Bolts fan and he's an Islanders fan. Wow. Uh,
Oh man, that
I
must be
can't
a
say
nutty house.
I'm an Islanders fan, and normally I'm not against Tampa. I just don't like the way things went this year, so I don't really like that. But yeah, I can't say I'm one or the other really. I like Barry Trotz a lot. That would probably be my main reason why I want the Islanders to win on because of who they have on their lineup or who's on their team. But ultimately, I think I got to. I think I'm going for Montreal to win the cup. I think I am. I think I want Montreal to win the cup this year.
Hey, yeah, you're Canadian. You want a Canadian team to
Yeah, it
win.
has nothing to do with that. Honestly, I'm not. Doesn't matter to me.
I
Calgary
just,
Flames are Canadian too, and I can assure you that I wouldn't be going for
I
Calgary.
would, I
It's a good
honestly,
thing.
for me, like last night, I was like joking around. I was like, man, I feel bad because like I feel good, but I also feel like I wish this was my team in this situation, you know? Like I'm seeing, the Montreal Canadiens who, weak as the Edmonton Oilers. I wish I could have been in this spot, seeing all the fans celebrating, right? So seeing all these fans celebrating in Montreal is just like, man,
Yeah.
this is good for them. I'm loving to see these Montreal Canadiens fans celebrating in the streets and going off
Yeah,
to the
there was a little
Stanley
bit of
Cup
a riot
final,
last night.
having a lot of fun. There was, it
Yeah,
was
hockey guy
insane.
was saying that like police cars are going to be messed with, and like
Oh, those
15 people got
I don't know if you
arrested.
know
I was
much
like,
about Montreal, man, but that's a party town. They had a day off. There's so many of them were drinking from 9 in the morning. Like it was not going to be a
yeah, there was it was some Montreal. Is that what it was? It was like a French holiday yesterday or
yeah.
something.
Yeah, yeah, like Jean
No,
Bastien Day or
it's
something
I
like
I
that.
said it yesterday and now I forget it.
What's that about?
Baptiste, but
Baptiste,
I can't
Baptiste,
remember.
yeah.
Is he like some
Something
sort of
for the
like
He's a
French.
icon or
saint.
something?
He's a saint. They're
Yeah,
big
something.
Catholic there.
Okay. So do they only celebrate it there in
Yeah,
Montreal?
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
All right. I should call the school board, be like, hey, can we take a day off work? Actually, no, it doesn't matter. It's summertime. Never mind. Fun fact. This is totally random. I've never heard of Yom Kippur my entire life
Really? Is
up until this school
that
year,
right?
and I was like, oh, I have a random day off on September such and such, and my girlfriend's like, yeah, it's Yom Kippur. I'm like, what's Yom Kippur? I've never heard of that before. She's like, it's a Jewish holiday. It's like, oh, okay, well, it gives me a day off.
Yeah.
Like, and then there's the Juneteenth thing, and some people are crying about. It. I'm like, it's a day off. It's a holiday. Come on, like, just make anything a
Red,
holiday,
red
whatever. Like, I want a day off.
Jean Baptiste Day. That's what it is. But
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I could. I'm surprised it was as tame as it was. But actually, Montreal, they like to party, but they're not really big fighters. So, as far as that is concerned, but they do the
with
partying.
future
If you ever get a
injury.
chance, man, if there's ever anybody says, "Hey, do you want to go to Montreal?" Just drop everything you and go. It is an incredible. It
Really?
is
I've
an
been
awesome city. I love Montreal.
It is.
Okay.
It is. I've been really loving that meme guy. If you guys have seen that, I swear to God guy from Quebec, he goes up on TV, he puts his predictions in, and then he ends it off. He's like, I swear to God, Montreal will win this series or whatever he'll say. Meme. I seen him on Tim and Friends the other day, which just ended up being a beautiful segment, which was just a reporter, and there was just a crowd full of Canadians fans around him, crowd full of them all around them, and then the meme guy came in. Is just absolutely amazing. And I just, I love the playoff atmosphere that we're right now seeing. Last year was all the bubble. You don't really get to see a
Yeah.
lot of the celebration, but now we get to see the Canadians fans celebrating, the Isles fans, and even the Tampa Bay fans, and it's exciting.
And also, too, let's not forget the Canadians were really lucky to get into that playoffs last year in the bubble because if COVID never
Mm-hmm.
happened, Canadians wouldn't even have made it last year and they wouldn't have won the play-in round. But yeah, I think I'm hoping Montreal increases the capacity for the Cup final. They got to find a way. Like they should just at this point, like I know I'm being selfish and everything, but I feel like if I was like a Canadians fan, I'd try to get a petition going, like, hey, like let us just sign a waiver. If we get COVID or die from it or whatever, then that's on us. Let's just
Hey,
if I were them, I would be pushing that so
I think
hard.
they eventually
Kind of
will, but
a
they're just taking it very slow. It's the way we do it here in Canada. Everything's last second.
kind of a big thought that I just had. Since, we're talking about Montreal winning one of the play-in rounds and stuff like that, do you think Bergevin was looking at the team at that time, seeing how well priced in the playoffs and saying, we could be a playoff team? I don't know if we could be a regular season team, but I think we could be a playoff team. And then when he heard about the Canadian division, do you think that even pushed him a little bit further to make the team super good for the playoffs, like picking up Perry and Anderson and
I
just
was
trying to bolster that team
Well,
up for the
he
yeah,
said it
playoffs.
himself. He said it himself. He said, we're not built for the
they're more
regular
of a playoff
season. We're
team.
built for the playoffs. He said that.
Hey, don't be
Hmm.
surprised if they miss the playoffs next year in an 82 game season where they'll be back to the same division as the Bruins, the Lightning, the Leafs again. I mean, we all know the Leafs are a regular season team, and then we all know what happens in the first round. And then the Panthers in there too. Like, that's going to be a pretty awesome division next season, assuming next season's normal. So it wouldn't surprise me at all one bit if the Canadians miss the
Well,
playoffs
just wait to
next
see
year.
what Bergevin does with this roster next year, too. I mean, this guy thinks
But,
outside of the
but
box. So I imagine he's going to go for some
yeah,
And you got to
scores and
remember Suzuki and
uh,
Caulfield. If those guys continue to jump
yep.
up, that top six could be really lethal,
it
especially if they
could.
get Deneau
Yeah.
back. It could be a really scary roster going into next season. And we got to remember this team went like 10-2 to start off the season. They were a juggernaut. They dealt with a lot of injuries going throughout the
Yep.
season, and they
Fire to
did not.
fits.
They were having some locker room problems and just a ton of
Hmm.
issues that got clouded over how good their team was defensively,
Yeah,
and they seemed to have like a mental restart once the playoffs started, and they went down 3-1. They're like, we got nothing to lose here. Let's go for it. Let's win every single game that we possibly can.
yeah.
And now we're here and they're in the Stanley Cup Finals.
I,
And I don't think we ever believed that this team would have came back from that 3-1. I said that they would have
right.
lost, but every game this kept climbing in and kept climbing
Well,
back, and here they are now.
I think when they won that game six, everybody knew they were going to beat Toronto after that. And I think the Leafs even knew it too. But
Hmm.
the
Oh,
amazing
even the
the
fans
amazing
knew.
part about the Canadians, I think a lot of Stanley Cup champs kind of have this common characteristic is adversity. The Canadians went through a lot of it this year, where, like you said, they kind of slumped for at one point. They had injuries. They fired their coach, had another coach, and then that coach is COVID or tested positive for COVID. Then he couldn't coach the past like 3 games. Now they have an interim coach in there. I mean, the key was getting some guys back healthy. I mean, definitely Price being one of them. Going down 3-1 against Toronto and then winning 2 of them in a row in overtime. Um, yeah, it's just amazing what this team has like been through. And then who did they had somebody that got injured in the Leafs series too for a couple games, and then they just got back. Oh, who was it? Petrie was hurt for a little tiny bit too in the playoffs, and then they just got him back not that long ago. This team's just been through hell and back all year long, and I think that's what drives a lot of teams to win that cup. Like, look, we've been through hell and back. We can win this darn cup. And then also, too, the recent Stanley Cup teams break droughts or curses or whatever, where Tampa last year, for instance, they before last year, '04 was the last year they won the cup. And then the Blues before that never won a cup before. The Capitals before that never won a cup before. I mean, obviously the Penguins had the repeat, but prior to the repeat, they didn't win one since like '09 or something like that. So that was a little bit of a while ago. But it's just a trend that I've been noticing lately. Teams that haven't won in a while, teams that have been through adversity, hungrier teams, as cliche as that sounds. I mean, maybe the Islanders do win tonight. It's a toss up game. I don't know what other people have in their picks, but I'm gonna say 3-2 Tampa and OT tonight and hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it. All looks like what Peyton was saying. It all looks like it was pretty planned out. They gave Price. They made sure Price. The big thing that they seemed to make sure of was that Price was going to be ready for the playoffs. They told him, you feel
Hmm.
anything, you take time off, get set up. That's why they went out and got Allen, who can play a lot of games. And then they started Price right away. Price played pretty well the first in the beginning of the season, and then he started looking kind of wonky. And they said, you know what, take care of whatever you got to take care of. We'll play Allen and all of that. And then they just kept on being in the playoff picture, making sure they weren't out of it,
Yep.
all of that stuff like that. And then at the end, they bring Price back. He's in perfect condition. He's mentally where he needs to be. All of those sort of things
Yeah.
like that. And they know they've got these playoff performers in Perry and Anderson. I think is injured too. Like he's really just he's not doing much offensively. I think he has a problem, but he's doing
That's
everything else
because.
he can out there. He's being the big body that they need and all that kind of stuff like that.
Hmm.
It looked like it was kind of all planned out. And also, how many times you see it, if you just eke into the playoffs and you can play that underdog role, especially against a
Yep.
fancy team like Toronto, right? Who might have
Hmm.
gone in there thinking, it's whatever, we got these guys, right? And next thing you know, you take them by young team, you take them by surprise, and it just so happens, and I'm sure it was like it wasn't. It all started when Perry kneed Tavares to the head, and I don't think he meant to do it. You
Hmm.
look at it over and over and over again. It looks incidental for sure, but right from that moment on, it just seemed that it kind of woke up Montreal and said, "Hey, we really got a chance here now," you know. And ever since that moment, they just went whoa and took off from there. Did that seem like that to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, even in this series against the Vegas Golden Knights, like every time you would think they would get knocked down, they just kept getting back up and they just kept walking. They didn't skip a beat. If they got beaten in that game, they're like, all right, we'll play better than you in the next one. We got this. And they would go out there and just pummel the Vegas Golden Knights into the ground. And they did such a great job of taking advantage of the fact that they didn't have very many centermen. So let's throw it to know they're almost the face-off so he can win majority of the face-off draws. I remember one game he took like almost 30 face-offs in one of the games, and he was about 60-50% on most of them. And that was the biggest thing for the Montreal Canadiens. And now faceoffs are not analytically the biggest thing, but when you need those big offensive
Yeah.
draws, and most of the time those big offensive draws got Vegas a goal, especially from the point, and it seemed like the Montreal Canadiens just played such a good game, even without Ducharme in the lineup. Luke Richardson took over as the
Yep.
little interim head coach there, which I've been loving his story. If you guys haven't heard his story, absolutely amazing story. His 14-year-old daughter, she, unfortunately, suicide. And he did a kind of a fundraiser for her. Has like a whole program for her and everything like that. And every time he wins a game, he taps the little pin that he has for her. Every time they win a game, and he looks up to this guy. And if you see that, Sportsnet showed it a couple times. But I think that's one of the low key underlying storylines that we haven't talked about too much, but is just such a great storyline to hear about for Richardson, and it's a lot of hard stuff that he went through, and now they're here in the Stanley Cup Finals, and it's pretty exciting to, hear these small little stories.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, that he is a great story, and I already heard today that they're talking. That there are probably a lot of teams out there that got their ears perked up for Richardson, and maybe take him taking over a head coaching role somewhere down the line. This really worked out well for him because he did run that bench pretty well, but we know that it's not. Yeah, coaching is like a whole season type thing. Going behind the bench and after what he already saw from Ducharme, and he's just kind of carrying the torch here a little bit. But he did a good job. I mean, nothing
He
seemed to
did.
stop these guys. The only real major issue Montreal had was Perry as well, right? Not Perry, Petrie. What was that was the other thing is they stayed pretty injury free.
Yeah. My question is, what are your guys' game picks for tonight?
Oh, for the
I'm
Tampa.
tough. This is tough. I'm thinking. I don't think I've ever been more on the fence. I got it in for a tie, to tell you the honest truth. I think it's going to overtime.
But there can't be a
No, but I
tie.
mean, I think it's going into overtime, and then
Yeah,
it's
I
a
think
coin
overtime
flip
too.
after that. Uh,
Well, we got
OT
4-3 OT
Isles. Okay,
Isles.
I'll write these down. We'll do it.
Who's
Yeah,
NHL Hockey News Reports? Is that like a legit
Yeah,
like
he's
thing, or is it?
great. He's got a great channel. You want to check him out.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, cool. Yeah, I've seen him here a couple times.
he does live streams like John off the wall hockey. John does and stuff like that. He's great. He's very all. He's been talking all year about the Habs and Ducharme is a good coach. Trust me, and all of this stuff like that. Hockey News Reports. If there's one guy that's called all of this, it's him. He's called all of it.
Wow, wow.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
yeah.
amazing.
Of course, he is
Um,
a Canadians
where?
fan, so but
Okay. Where is Ducharme coached at before? Is he new?
I don't think Dominic
He's only
Ducharme.
been there for like half the season with Canadians.
Yeah, I don't think he got any other coaching jobs around the league. I'm not too sure about it, but I think he maybe coached in some junior jobs, but
So we
I
got
think this was his first
four.
inning.
We got 4-3 OT Isles. I'm gonna say 3-2 OT Tampa.
okay, e-money. You guys keep talking. I'll write down what everybody says here. Put in your
3-2
Yeah,
Isles and OT.
three
yeah.
two.
I'm at the same with you, Perlo, on this Tampa Bay New York game tonight. It's such a coin flip on it. Like I could see the Islanders winning, but at the exact same time, I could see the Tampa Bay Lightning winning in this one. And I picked Montreal to win last night. I almost picked Vegas because I was like, oh, they'll push to a game 7, and then thank goodness I picked Montreal. But um, this is such a tough one. Like I think I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go with Tampa Bay in this one. I would like to see the New York Islanders win, but I think Tampa Bay is gonna take this one. I think it's gonna be 4-2 Tampa. I think that's what
Oh,
it'll be.
really, eh? You think they're going to win by
This
in
this gonna be
regulation?
this gonna be a battle.
Yes, and Ducharme, yeah, so news reports said Ducharme was an assistant coach for the
Yeah.
Habs, and then he was also coaching for Halifax, Coach
Mhm.
McKinnon, Drouin, Mete, and Uyghur, and all those.
Oh,
Actually,
okay.
a lot of good names.
Yeah, that is some good names.
And he is
Um,
also was the GM as well for Drummondville as well for 2 years. So he has some GM experience as well.
Yeah.
oh,
Oh, wow. Okay.
so you're
Yeah.
saying 4-2 Tampa. I'm saying 3-2 Tampa. Oh, someone else is saying 3-2 Islanders OT. Um, oh, Jeff is saying 5-2 Tampa. Oh,
And
I,
Lauren, the finals will be on Monday. That's when the
yeah,
finals are starting. It's on
hey,
Monday.
Monday.
Yeah,
Jeff is in the house. Welcome.
that'll be a good way to start off the week.
Thanks for
Oh,
coming in, buddy. Uh,
Oh, what am I
five
thinking
two
now?
Bolts. Okay,
Hang on, I'll be
I'm
back.
going I'm going with my heart on this one
okay,
since it's a coin flip. I'm going to go 2-1 Isles. I
Oh,
2-1
I think it's going
Niles.
to be a low scoring game. But I'm not sure because really when you think about it, it's hard to go against Vasilevsky in Game 7. That's really what
Mm-hmm.
it comes down to, right? Uh,
I think that too, and just like Tampa Bay has beat New York every single time they have faced, and like what I think who was it again? Elliot said that 22-2 after losing a game for the Tampa Bay Lightning, like that is impressive. Like you take a look at this entire series, every time Tampa Bay has lost, they have came back and won a game or even 2 games in a row. So I think for Tampa Bay, it's kind of not. It's an obvious one to go with the Tampa Bay Lightning just because of the history and everything, and also Vasilevsky, you got Stamkos, and Stamkos will step up big time. Either that or Brain Point. You got so many guys that could step up big time for the Tampa Bay Lightning, especially in that Game 7. And I didn't see enough of the New York Islanders in Game 6. They only started really playing good near that second half of that second period when they were up against the wall. So how well will they do in this Game 7? I don't know. I feel like Tampa Bay will be able to pull this one away just because of their experience and just how tough their team is. And especially if Eric Cernak is in the lineup, we'll have to see.
yeah.
But I don't think Kucherov he won't return tonight.
Elliot. Sorry about that, Elliot. I know I didn't mean to disappoint. My girlfriend was calling me, and I made it as quick as possible. I was like, yeah,
Uh,
okay. I just want to get back on the show. Sorry
um,
about that, guys. I'm gonna be rude. Steve, you said 2-1 Tampa
said 2-1 Tampa. Geez, I was going to say
overtime.
something that I.
Oh, can we get a double overtime? That'd be sweet. I
Yeah.
feel like there's only been like one double OT this playoffs.
Uh, uh, Tippett's job in
Oh no,
Edmonton.
there's
No,
there's a
that
triple.
makes sense,
No,
but I don't think
I don't
so.
think there has been a.
it could.
Oh, there was one triple. Was that the Jets Oilers game 4?
Yeah. Yeah, game
Yeah,
four was triple
Richardson
yeah.
overtime.
takes Sheldon Keefe's job if Toronto comes out top.
Stamkos does choke in game 7s. That is true. He doesn't do anything in game
Well, then you
sevens.
could also look at it as maybe he's due. Maybe this is his big
Oh,
one
how about
coming.
this? Um, for those that said overtime, can we predict who scores the game winner?
Yeah,
Because I like to predict
yeah,
stuff.
we do
I'm
that.
gonna
We
say
do
I'm gonna
that
say
here all the
Braden
time.
Point.
Who's gonna score, everybody?
Braden Point gets the OT winner and takes Tampa back to the cup because he's been walking on water this
Oh
playoffs.
yeah.
I'm gonna go with Blake Coleman as OT winner for Tampa Bay,
Oh,
just because
okay.
he's been he gave up the big game winning goal to New York in the last
Yeah, he
game, and
did.
I feel like he's gonna want a little bit of redemption. And for New York, I'm gonna go for my boy Jordan Eberle, for
Oh,
the
we're doing
OT winner for New
OT.
York.
Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
do both teams because if it goes to OT, you
Wait
never
a
know
minute,
what
you
might
didn't
happen.
predict OT. You said 4-2 Tampa.
Yeah, but
No,
he's
I
just
know
saying it
4-2
could
Tampa,
happen
but
though.
just
Uh,
Okay,
saying he does
okay,
have.
okay. We're
Everybody was taking point. Anybody else? What do you? I'll write it in the chat so they know what's going on. No, what we do is who will score the first goal is what we've been doing. But what do you want to say? The game-winning goal? Who will
Oh,
score the
he's
game-winning
Lord
goal?
Jenkins saying Nelson gets the game winner. Hmm.
Game winner. That's a good one. We should have did that one. We were doing the first goal, but we can do the game winner.
Yeah, I guess game winner is a better way of putting it. I'm still gonna say Braden Point gets the OT.
Okay, so that would be the
Coleman
game
and
winner. So,
Eberle for me.
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
Braden Point.
who said who? Did somebody else said something? Who? What was it? I didn't read.
What?
Where is it?
For
Islanders. Oh, Nelson.
Isles,
Nelson. Lauren says
Yeah.
Nelson.
Pajot. I could see Pajot. Yeah, Pajot's been
Mm-hmm.
really good this playoffs. He's arguably their Conn Smythe right now.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't put them
And
both
Goodrow.
down, but
It's not bad down.
Good road.
And Bill, I could see Luke Richardson. I mean, I think if the Oilers were to go for coaching, it'd probably be more experienced than anything. Luke Richardson's only coached in the AHL, and he looks like he was great there for the Canadiens. Been an assistant for since like 2010. He was an assistant there for Ottawa and a head coach. But I think if the Oilers were to hire a head coach, I'd like to see Ray Woodcroft, the AHL head coach for Bakersfield
oh
Condors.
yeah.
He used to be an assistant coach of the Oilers when Todd McClellan, and I've really been enjoying his game, and I think he would be a really good coach, and I think he would fit Edmonton quite well, especially up on the main roster. That's who I would pick if we were to fire Dave Tippett,
Okay. I don't know.
but I don't see us firing
No,
Dave
we're
Tippett
gonna
in a
have to come
while.
out really soft to be able to do that. I was saying that if Toronto drops the ball first half next year, maybe they think of moving on from Keefe and grabbing Richardson because he played for Toronto for years for as well. But there's a lot of teams. I think Richardson's been on the been gaining experience and been on the back burner on a lot of teams' minds for a while. So it could anybody. Uh,
Oh, how stupid Seattle, by the way, for getting Hacksaw as their coach. That's a
I'm not
waste.
sure yet. We'll see
I
because
don't think it's a waste.
I'm not sure.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, we'll
we'll
see.
see.
Like, I don't think it's going to be a bad idea. Like he's done good with younger players, and plus he went to a university where TJ Oshie went to, and he helped coach him. So it might actually bring a lot of players that he did coach back in North Dakota days for this expansion draft. Plus he did do pretty good with the younger players like a Shane Gostisbehere, who he got that career high season with 65 points. And Hackstall didn't have any goalies when he was coaching there in Philly too, so it was pretty hard to consistently get in the playoffs every year when you're jumping between Steve Mason and Brian Elliott.
Yeah, yeah. He. All I'm gonna say is he was considered a genius coming out of college, as far by everybody. So it didn't work out in Philly. I'm gonna give him rope because, and also Ron Francis is a very smart hockey guy, and I like what you
Mm-hmm.
said there. There's a really good chance that, you know, so your first coach. There's a lot of factors that come on, especially with the expansion team and drawing players from other, especially free agents. We should look at
Yeah.
some of the free agents that are from North Dakota and see maybe they're looking at drawing a few free agents. But ultimately, I don't think Seattle's looking to take the world by storm like Vegas. They're going to go the old-fashioned way. Francis is kind of an old-fashioned guy, and they're going to build from youth and goalie out and all of those cliche things that you build a team through. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, we'll see. I'm not going to say anything because, like I said, it just Philadelphia was kind of a hot mess, anyways, too, right? Let's face it.
Yeah.
It was.
I guess we'll see. Yeah, time will tell. But I was like, oh, I'm surprised it's him. I bet Gallant was probably the first pick, but then he went to the Rangers.
Maybe, maybe that was a good spot for him.
Maybe it was
It's
Hackstall the
possibly
entire time.
Hackstall was down the list because Talkett's already in somewhere else too, and they just haven't come out and said it yet.
I wonder where Tortorella goes.
Tortorella, that'll be interesting
There's
for
not a
sure.
lot of who else has coaching spots like Arizona, Columbus filled their spot with Larson there. Who else has an open coaching spot? I think it's just Arizona. Am I forgetting a team that needs a
Let me
coach?
look it up here. I'll go to Cap Friendly. Are you on Cap Friendly already and you can't think of it?
Yeah, yeah. I just can't think because I know Arizona needs a coach. Buffalo needs a coach. Yeah, I think almost every. I think there's
Arizona.
only a few available
Did
spots.
Arizona
Arizona,
hire
yeah,
anybody?
Arizona.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, Arizona needs a coach. Buffalo, yeah. And I think,
That's really it.
yeah. So I think Tortorella will probably have to wait to see who fires their coach early in the season or something like that. There's a question: who's on the hot seat for coaches that in I don't even know why Buffalo
Um,
isn't even going to stick with. We already said that with the guy they already had. Granado looked like he
yeah,
was doing
Granada. They
great.
should. They should just keep him. I think Bednar could potentially be on the hot seat if
Really,
Colorado
really,
doesn't do very well in the playoff. If they don't do very well in the playoffs again,
Yeah,
Bednar kind of shot these guys' confidence going into the Vegas Golden Knights series. If they were to, Bednar were able to boost these guys up and actually, coach them a little bit better in that last series, I feel like Colorado could have been able to pull away with that series win against the Vegas Golden Knights. But I think Bednar could be on the hot seat just because this is a team that was talked about winning the Stanley Cup this year and even last year, and they still can't get past the second round. So I think he could potentially be on the hot seat.
not too many
Um,
this year. Usually, it's pretty easy to figure out. I don't.
Maybe with the Flyers,
Maybe
Alain
AV,
Vigneault.
yeah, maybe.
Um, Maybe Vancouver with Benning. He might be
As
on
a
the hot
general
seat if they
manager,
do
yeah,
do good.
yeah, he should be on the hot
But
seat. His seat should be on fire.
I maybe even Paul Maurice.
Yeah, Paul
Yeah,
Maurice was
Lauren.
the guy
Yeah,
I was
Paul
thinking
Maurice.
too. Yeah,
Yeah, that's another guy that could be potentially on the hot seat. Well, I mean, I wouldn't even put Maurice on the hot seat because he has a no defense. How can you coach a team when you got no defense?
yeah.
And you're basically trying to rely on Morrissey and Dylan DeMello and Neil Pionk when they're very solid guys, but Morrissey's playing alongside a Tucker Poolman half the time, so it's kind of hard to coach a team when you got no defense.
Yeah. Okay, so since we're only going to have you for like 7 more minutes, by the way, Imani's got to go after the break. It's got to
yeah.
go during the break.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna try to do a 2 hour one soon. I need to. It's been a while. I don't mean to be slacking or anything.
Yeah, it's slacking. I'm happy to have you. There's no rules here,
Yeah, I had to
boys.
come on. I was like, that was one of the first things I thought of after last night's game. I was like, I need to come on the Pearlo Wisdom show. That way we can talk about last night's game and then preview tonight's, which that's gonna be a sweet game. I'm hoping I can find a way to watch it because I got a birthday party to go to, but I have that recorded just in case.
I'm recording it
Um,
tonight,
Nice.
by the way. I forgot to put that. I don't want anybody in our Steel Flyers chat telling me what the score is. I'm recording it and watching it in the
yeah,
Nope.
morning.
I'm just gonna be shutting
I'll
off my
not be texting
phone.
the group chat.
It stinks. It stinks. I have to like if I can't watch any of it tonight, I have to wait till like mid afternoon tomorrow because I got to swim meet the coach tomorrow too. So I'm like gonna hide my phone as long as I can. Like, all right, I don't want to know. I want to see this game 7. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pumped. It's gonna be an awesome game. And then Monday, that's the yeah. I think you said that Peyton. Monday's the first game of the cup. Hopefully, it's at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern time instead of 8 or 9 or any of that BS. Well, actually, it'd all be on the East Coast, or yeah, it'd all be on the East Coast no matter what. So I would imagine, hopefully, a 7 o'clock Eastern time, um, and then we can preview that too Monday. I'll have to do some of my homework on this during the weekend. We can preview the Cup. I'll try to come wait Monday. I should be able to. Yeah, I'll have to come back on Monday. Maybe do like a 2 hour block Monday. That should work for me. Um, Yeah, so
Yeah.
we'll have to preview the cup
Just
final.
message me in the morning. Like I said, it doesn't matter. You just come on whenever you
Yeah.
want. It doesn't. We work with wherever the time is. But yeah, tonight's game is going to be like I definitely want to watch it. It's there's so much like to me the big thing is it's the Cooper Trots because I love coaches. The game plan that's going to be put in place for this game 7. Do they have any surprises? Like one of the teams that really showed that I really showed me a lot of surprises this year even though they didn't beat Vegas, was Minnesota.
Yeah.
Minnesota showed an ability to play a lot of different ways. Twice they played the trap, and I never saw them do that all through the regular season. And they started playing a 1-1-3 against Vegas, and just so happens, and they did it. They won one and they lost the other one, but it was really close. And Montreal plays a 1-1-3 every game. That's the one
Pearlo
thing. If you can
dance.
break up this 1-1-3, because they don't change their they play the same game every single game, Montreal. They're playing a
What's
1-1.
Pearlo dance?
What's that?
What's Pearlo
Oh,
dance?
what's Pearlo dance? I
Oh.
do this all the time.
Okay, keep
Buddy.
going.
Uh,
Oh gosh.
there you go. You got the Pearlo
One one
dance.
three. Okay,
You
yeah.
know what? We didn't take any
Minnesota.
times because there was a lot of good stuff here. I think I might just clip this first hour and put it out there. I think I'm going to
It
put.
was
There's my
meant to
Pearlo
be an
dance.
hour.
I'm going to clip this first hour and put it out there.
Oh yeah, Minnesota was a surprise. That was for sure. They were. I wasn't expecting them to be all that
I wasn't
good.
expecting them to be able to change up their game like that. So, anyways, to bring that to here, I wonder if how many surprises the Islanders or Tampa Bay has here. Tampa Bay can play either way when they're playing at their best. When they're on the top of their game, oh, look at this. Look at everybody's Perlo dancing. Wow. I'm feeling special now. I'm going to have the whole, I have a dream that I'm in my Perlo jet, Perlo jet, and there's waves of Steel Flyers fans all over the place, and we're all Perlo dancing together as I come out the jet, and we all go to whatever game it is that I'm going to. That's going to happen. It's going to happen. Now, it just hit 11:11 on our average watch time. Do you know what 11:11 means? It means
Make a
whatever you're
wish.
talking about is going to happen. Isn't that incredible? Woo! It's going to
Oh,
happen, buddies. It's going to happen. All right, we got 2 minutes left. What more do you want to say on your way out, buddy?
I just wanted to
You
just
take the
thank you
floor.
for letting me on here and everything, and talking about this awesome game of hockey. I will definitely have to do a little bit of research more so this weekend. I wrote down some notes for the Canadians, and then I'll have to write down some notes for whoever wins, as opposed to like who my Conn Smythe will be for one of those two teams. Just more statistics and everything. I like to write a couple things down, get more of a breakdown. Um, One matchup that would be very interesting to see. Like if Tampa wins, one thing to look at is the special teams because Tampa's power play has been on fire. They're at like 37% or
Yeah,
something like that, and then Canadians PK is at a
crazy.
93.5. So that would be one matchup to like look at very very closely. That's one of the things I thought about today talking about these teams. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm very excited for tonight's game, and would we recap that on Monday? I guess.
Sure, yeah, we'll recap it. And now the other
I know
question
that's
is,
going to be
are we going to have a
weird.
game on Sunday? And I guess we can talk about, I hope not. I really hope they give at
I don't
least
think so.
two.
I thought
it
it was
the
Monday.
game. No, it'll be
It's going to be
Monday.
Monday?
The
Okay, good.
Stanley Cup final starts up on Monday. Yeah.
So,
Yep.
So whoever wins this game, game one will be on Monday.
And then the last possible day for the cup is didn't they say like July 10th or something like that? But I don't think it'll get to that far.
well, if it goes seven, I guess. That's what, if,
Yeah, if it goes seven, it'll probably go 2 weeks. But I think it'll probably end by next Monday, maybe, because that would be, I don't know,
Yeah,
that'd be
look at that
game
calendar.
5, game 6, around
So you
there.
got
It'd be,
June 28th, 28th to 30th, the second. Oh, maybe possibly July 4th. Oh, that'd be a cool 4th of July thing.
mm-hmm.
Maybe, yeah.
I
Huh.
didn't think about that.
Yeah.
July, and then July, August, September, and October, we're already playing hockey again. Woo!
Oh,
Yeah.
Love
man.
it.
Crazy stuff. This offseason's going to be nuts,
Yeah.
too.
It,
Right
Yeah.
after the playoffs, we get the expansion draft, the
No, I'm
It's
excited.
draft,
going to be like
Yeah,
free
there's still
agency right
games
after
going
that.
on this off season. So you guys stick around. Sasha's back. Wow. Uh, Yeah, you guys stick around for this off season because it's going to be just as good, almost as good as hockey being on with all the stuff that's going to be going on.
Yeah, I'm
Drafts,
I'm excited
more trades
for
than more
that
trades than
expansion
you could
draft.
ever imagine. Free agency, everything. It's going to be
Mm-hmm.
awesome.
Oh yeah,
And
oh
you'll be
yeah.
on with this when that happens in the summer as well. You'll have more time to do it too, won't you?
I'll make sure. I'll make
So,
sure.
all right, everybody say bye to E Money. We'll give him a little Perla dance on his way out. Yay, E Money! And we're going to go to break here now. Yeah, great. The frolic is
Nice.
endless here
I
at
love it.
Pilgrimism Industries.
All right, I'm gonna try to come back Monday. I'll see you guys.
Yeah,
How
I
it
like
going?
having the three of you on. It's awesome.
Perfect.
Three,
Yeah, that's pretty
it's fun.
sweet.
It
I
is.
love it.
Okay, obviously everybody
All
else
right.
does too, because everybody comes in when you guys are on. So,
Oh, you're gonna have your sponsor on too.
yeah, which I'm about to do right now. Everybody, doggy time.
Greetings. This is Steel Flyers from the Steel Flyers All Sports Network, and we have two very special guests. We are delighted to be joined by Tracy Musser and Nicole Howard from the Canine Country Club Resorts. Tracy and Nicole are both managers for CCC Resorts and work at the Windsor or at the club, one of two locations both in Manheim, Pennsylvania. Congratulations on your 30th year anniversary of being in business. Let me start off by saying this. Steel Flyer stands behind this company 100%. Taken care of Steel Flyer's furry friend for the last 2 years now, and they are a one-stop shop for everything your furry friend needs.